life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Take 3. Howdy y'all, this is Ned over at My Philippine Dreams, one half of the Philippine Dream Team, and welcome to yet another episode on our YouTube channel. Today's episode is entitled Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness in the Philippines, and I'm probably going to break it off into 2 pieces, just because I'm trying to upload smaller files to YouTube so I take up less of your time. More quality, less quantity, something like that, brevity being the key to success. The first part of this is basically I'm just going to relate a simple story to you. I'm not going to get into the morals of it and all that stuff. We'll save that for the next time. And basically what happened is this. Michelle went to Mindanao not too long ago to go to a wedding. And I was left free for the entire weekend, and I was all excited. I'm like, yeah, you know, the cat's away, the mouse can play, and all that stuff. But, so I'm like, I'm going out drinking, I'm going out partying, I'm going to be hitting the nightclubs, I'm going to be dancing till dawn. But I forget that I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I have to be in bed around 9 o'clock. So that kind of put a damper on things. But one night, I think it was Saturday night, exciting Saturday night, I decided to go to this place called Flip Flops here in Dumaguete. I'd heard good things about it. I heard the food was good, heard the ambiance was good, heard they had some good bands and all that. So I was like, cool, let's go check it out. So I went there by myself, and I got there, and I immediately noticed the age of the clientele. Yes, this was one of those places that had an older population. I'd say most of these guys were at least 70, and most of them were like late 70s, and there was a few guys there that were early 80s. As a matter of fact, I talked to one guy who was 84 years old. I'd actually seen him around Dumaguete. And they were there with their wives. Of course, their wives were, oh my gosh, 20 years younger than them. So they were like 55, 60, and their girlfriends and stuff. And I got a drink, and I was sitting at the bar, and I got there around 7:30, and I immediately noticed that these guys had either started drinking really early or they were just really loose. Because I'll tell you what, they were partying like it was 1999, or in some of their cases, 1899. And I'm sitting there at the bar, and they're dancing around, they're hopping around, they're throwing their hands up in the air, they're doing the funky chicken. Over the course of time, this band starts playing. It was a pretty good band, and I guess some of them, hopefully, I guess, knew the band members, because a few of the guys jumped up on stage, grabbed the microphone, and started singing some of the Beatles songs that they were doing. And at one point, and I'm telling you the honest truth, one of the guys got up and started doing a drum solo. And again, this whole time, all these really old guys are hopping around, acting like lunatics, and I'm sitting there, calmly drinking my beer, a bastion of maturity, and I'm thinking to myself, look at these old bastards. Can't they, at least behave with some modicum of decorum? This is an embarrassment. There's, Filipinos here. Imagine what they're thinking. What am I thinking? I'm just, I can't believe this. I'm aghast. I'm horrified. I'm so offended. And so I'm sitting there musing to myself. I ordered some fish and chips. And just before my fish and chips got to me, I'm watching, there's 2 guys on stage at this point, and they're doing Obladi, Oblada, look at that Beatles song, Life Goes On, yeah. And it finally occurred to me, and I had these little epiphanies in my life, and this is one of the things that I actually like about the Philippines, is learning all this stuff about myself. I had a little epiphany, and I realized that if these guys were back in the United States, or back in France, or back in the UK, or Australia, that there'd probably be, their families would have probably long shipped them off into nursing homes, resident living places for the aged and infirm. And they'd be sitting, there looking forward to maybe a game of Monopoly, or maybe sing-along over the weekend or something like that. But here in the Philippines, they get to do whatever they want to do. If they want to jump around and, act like they're 16 years old and jump up on stage and grab the microphone and do drum solos and do backflips off the stage, they can do that. There's difference, the older people, I'm not going to say elderly, but older people are looked on differently in the Philippines. And again, these guys here, unlike in the US, I believe, they're allowed to live their life to the fullest. They're allowed to follow their bliss. And they're allowed just to have a good time and to realize the life that was given to them. And this is slowly starting to sink into my brain as the fish and chips come. And finally, I just get this big smile on my face. And again, the Beatles song's still going. Obla-dee, obla-da. These guys are having a great time. And I thought to myself, you know, with God's grace, by the time I'm their age, I hope I can go out and have a great time and live it to its fullest, just like these guys are. Basically, I said, I hope to God someday I can be them. And again, don't forget, I was sitting there by myself, alone, sitting there judging them. It wasn't their shit that was so offensive. It was my own shit that was so offensive. So, gentlemen over at Flip Flops and Dumaguete across from Hypermart, good fish and chips, my hat's off to you. And again, hopefully, let's see, 25 years from now, 30 years from now, I can have what you have. Take care, y'all, and we'll do part 2 on the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in our next video. Bye.